Welcome back to BizAsia America. I'm Michelle McCory at the NASDAQ market site. Patterns of global migration have shifted in recent decades. A new U.S. study says both the number of immigrants and the amount of money they send home to their native countries have grown. The overall annual flow of such remittances has nearly tripled since 2000 and now tops $500 billion. Now, that is despite a marked dip during the 2009 global recession. The percentage of international migrants in the global population is the same, but more of them now live in today's high-income countries, such as the U.S. and Germany. And more were born in today's middle-income nations like India and Mexico. And that same study indicates that migrants are having an increasing impact on the global economy. There are more than 230 million migrant workers sending more than $500 billion home to families each year. As Ginger Vaughn reports, those remittances are becoming vital to developing countries.
People need help.
Mario Nato, a taxi driver living in Houston, says leaving his home in Ecuador to work in the United States 22 years ago was a smart move after all.
To move to another state, another city, you know, to learn the city is tough. Now, if you can imagine from immigrant people, coming this way was a risk, but it was good risk. You know, it was good for the opportunities that I got here. I found many good stuff here. I found a good life.
Nato started out doing odd jobs for minimum wage and sent most of his paycheck back to family in Ecuador.
When I came over here, the first time I was 19 years old. Then, in that time, I left Ecuador because it wasn't a good place to live. You know, there was not jobs or anything. So I ended up working New York, Houston, Mexico.
Sending money home is common among migrants. A recent study by the Pew Research Center, which looked at 137 nations, shows remittances now total more than $500 billion a year, triple the amount since 2000. Some of the industries which employ a large number of immigrants include construction, agriculture, and manufacturing. In big cities like Houston, restaurants and taxi services rely heavily on an immigrant workforce. The study shows the U.S. has 20% of the world's migrants, totaling 46 million, double the number from 1990. The U.S. is also the largest source of money sent to home countries. Of the $500 billion in remittances sent last year, more than $123 billion was sent from the U.S. to other countries. Top recipients include India, $71 billion, China, just over $60 billion, and the Philippines, $26 billion. All this money contributes to the gross domestic product of home countries. In the lowest income nations, it accounts for about 8% of GDP. Right. Economists say the impact is huge.
And these are very large transfers, very meaningful to the economy, and they have very big spread effects through the economy as these poor people spend almost all of the money that they receive.
Mario Nato recently became a U.S. citizen and says he now wants to keep more of his money here in the U.S. to start his own luxury taxi business. Ginger Vaughn, CCTV, Houston.